What is happening, everybody? It's KG here, back with another set of streaming, and today we have good old underdog drafts coming here at you for the first couple. We might do some drafters tonight. They did drop a new contest tonight, so I didn't want to specify in the thumbnail which one we were doing tonight because we're probably going to do both. But anyways, hope you guys are enjoying what you guys have been seeing in the last couple episodes here. If you guys are new here, make sure y'all smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we are going to go ahead and get into the intro. I don't really need to see this. Okay, maybe we won't be getting into the intro. Because for some odd reason it will not let me. Never mind. All right. I don't know why it won't, but... All right, we are live now, and unfortunately, I couldn't play my intro. I don't know why, but evidently it's not going to let me now. So, with that being said, we have our contest here. We are going to do this like this. Okay, there we go. So, we have Underdog with some contests out. I did put a little bit of money in today. Nothing too crazy. We're going to hide that. Pitbull, we're trying to get our entries kind of done for this. So we are going to do a $20 draft here to kind of, help us get into these a little bit here. So we are going to do some pit bulls today. We are probably going to do the new drafters contest as well and go from there. So that's kind of the plan for the stream today. We might do 3 drafts, might do 4. Who knows? We'll see where it takes us tonight. We'll see where it takes us. But yeah, that's kind of where everything is. If you guys weren't aware, we are going to go ahead and kind of show this off as well. We do have a lot of the poodles still going in the slow drafts. I guess I can highlight those real quick. We have Brees Hall, Puka Nacua, and Ladd McConkey in this one. In this one, we have Saquon, Josh Jacobs, and Ladd McConkey again. This one, we got Jamar, Rashee Rice, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. Took Jackson Smith and Jigba a little bit ahead of schedule and also took Rashee Rice at a little bit of a discount there. We got McCaffrey, Taylor, and Devontae Adams. Pretty solid overall start, I would say. Then we come down here. We got Josh Allen, Nico Collins, Drake London, and George Kittle. No running backs yet in that one. Josh Allen, Kyron Williams. We got a Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas team, which is very rare to get, but we did get it nonetheless. And we got it paired with Kyron and Josh at a huge discount. So that's a pretty nice pairing right there in the poodle. For a slow to start. But yeah, moving on, we got Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, and A.J. Brown. Basically at ADP, we got Lamar at a little bit of a discount here. And last but certainly not least, we have Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill with a little bit of a reach, Devontae Adams with a little bit of a reach, and DK Metcalf falling a little bit here as a faller. Then we take Chuba Hubbard as our RB1. I like this team a lot, quite honestly. Having Jefferson, Reek, Devontae, and DK Metcalf is a pretty solid start nonetheless. Like I said, I think they're all very high upside kind of plays. We're going to get on drafters as well here. Let me log in here really fast. I don't really care if you all see my email. Maybe one day I'll actually care, but so we're just going to join one of these little rooms here. And see which one ever starts first, maybe one of them starts before the other, and then we can kind of just get going from there. One of them we're waiting on 5 people. The other one we are waiting on 8 people. So we will see which one starts first. Hopefully y'all are having a good day, good night, wherever y'all are at. We got 5 people waiting in the pit bull. So hopefully we can get some people to join tonight. See what's up. Hopefully. But yeah, we'll see what happens tonight, man. I mean, hopefully we can get some things going tonight and get some drafts a ripping. Pitbull need 3. All right. Oh shoot, filled fast. All right. Oh, that's really good for us. So never mind. We now need 1. So that's good, at least. Oh, stream starting. All right, here we go. So we got the 106. Let's see if we got anybody we know here. Looks like we don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and back out of this because I don't really want to double table here. We'll go ahead and go into the draft room here. All right. So let's see. We got Capital J, Ardaws, Dolphins, 1984 in the 3s, Darth Jaws, Slay Beans, Cavale Man, I don't know, Capped, RQW123WGY, no idea who that is, K Conpit 1392, no idea, and Jodis. I have no idea who any of these guys are. So we will see what happens coming into this. We'll see what happens. And as I've said previously, I wish I could play music, but I can't. So that part of these YouTube streams kind of sucks because you really can't play anything as far as music goes. But like I said, I wish I could, but I can't. So I just kind of go with the flow here on this. The 106 is an interesting pick this year because you hope one of those 5 fall to you between Jefferson, Saquon, Bijan, and we got one to fall because Puka Nacua went at the 102. So one of them is going to fall. So CD's probably going to fall or Jefferson, one of these 4. That's what you're hoping for. That's realistically what you're hoping to happen. And thank God it did, because if it didn't happen, then we were going to get really upset really fast. So Saquon Barkley off the board. See who in the 3s takes. He's probably going to go Jettas if I had to take a guess. Which, I mean, I have Jettas at the number 2 spot right now instead of the number 4, so he gets a pretty good discount there. This is just strictly preference between Lamb and Bijan, to be honest. I prefer Bijan to Lamb, so he went with my preference. I would take CeeDee Lamb over Gibbs. I think CeeDee Lamb is primed for a better year this year than he did last year. I'm still not a huge CeeDee guy, but I'm still getting my shares where I can. I do think he is a good receiver. I do think he's a top 5 receiver. I just am not sure he's better than the running backs on the board. I think you can get running backs a little bit better priced. So that's the only reason I'm willing to take the swing on CeeDee Lamb. I think they're slightly better. Let's see. Underdog is running a promo right now. They tweeted it out today. I got to see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. I don't know if they'll have it on their main page or not. I don't think they do. Yeah, they don't. But it's a enter into, I believe it's $220 worth of entries, and you get $50 free into certain contests. And I don't remember. I believe it might be here, maybe. Yeah, here we go. So enter 4 teams, each with 16 total into the sprint, marathon, eliminator, and weekly winners by 11:59 p.m. Eastern on Friday, July 4th. They receive $50 in bonus cash. Both slow draft and fast draft are eligible. So they are running that promo if you are interested in those contests. Personally, I'm not. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers sometimes. So we get CeeDee Lamb first off the board. I do think I'm going to go ahead and take Mr. Ladd McConkey here or T. Higgins. I think we're going to go Ladd. I do like Ladd quite a bit this season. I think Ladd is an upside swing for this season. And I think he can follow up with a really good year. I do think that even though the team is going to be a very run-heavy team, realistically speaking, I'm making the bet that Ladd McConkey is their receiver 1, their alpha, and will continue to be their alpha for the rest of the year and can get those targets maybe up to 120, 130 this year. instead of I think it was 110-ish this past year, and can show a little bit more life like he did in the playoffs. That playoff game really kind of looked like a really good game, and the Chargers could be playing from behind quite a bit. So, especially as tough as their division is, it could be a really fun year for Ladd McConkey. I'm gonna try to find some copyright-free music as well, if you guys would prefer that. So there's something on behind. I'm not gonna have it very loud, obviously. Let's see. All right, we're good, I believe. Okay, so we should be good. Should be good to go. Oh, I am on the clock. Devontae Adams. Actually, no, we'll take Garrett. We'll go Garrett Wilson. I think that's a fun little faller right there. I wouldn't normally take Devontae Adams there, but I think that's a fun little faller there. So we got CD, we got Ladd, and we got Garrett Wilson. I mean, to be honest, that's a really good start. Especially in a contest like this where it's not as big as Best Ball Mania, so these floor kind of guys like Garrett Wilson, guys who are guaranteed targets and good targets at that, are fun. I mean, especially the week 16, 7, or 15, 16, 17 schedule for the Jets. They have the Jacksonville Jags, who are not really a prime defense. The Saints are not really that great. And their very last week is New England. New England is pretty good. But you never know what can happen in the season. They are a pretty crappy team. Both those teams are pretty crappy teams, and maybe we get a little shootout in week 17. Who knows? CD Lamb and the Dallas Cowboys, they will be playing in week 17, the Washington Commanders. So we don't really have anything on the flip side of there. And the Chargers are playing Houston. There's at least one draft where I'd like to reach on Ladd McConkey and get Ladd and Nico Collins. I don't know if the Pit Bull's necessarily where I want to do that at, but at the same time, it's not really that bad of an idea to get a little unique in a room. If you guys haven't used StreamYard before, I'm going to go ahead and pop that up on the screen here. Get a discount code. There it is. If you need it, it's in the description down below as well. So I have that. I also have a drafters code and an underdog code. So if you guys need that as well, make sure y'all go check that out. Sign up for underdog and drafters today. Makes life a lot easier for everybody involved. So Kyron Williams off the board, Jaden Daniels off the board, Tet off the board, DJ Moore off the board. This little receiver group here, I've been thinking about this receiver group quite a bit. I've been smacking Devontae Smith a lot at this spot. I think I'm going to continue to smack Devontae Smith in this spot over Worthy, over DK Metcalf. I don't think DK Metcalf is that great. I also don't really know that the Steelers are all that great, to be quite honest with you. We see that they're going all in. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has a lot left in the tank. I'm kind of making that bet myself. I would definitely take Sutton over those guys, and I'd definitely take Kittle over those guys too. So yeah, I mean, I think they're extremely overpriced right now. That's just my 2 cents. I think they're more so in the Zay Flowers Waddle range, but little do I know, what do I know? At the end of the day. So this guy started 3 RBs. He goes Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, and gets Xavier Worthy as receiver 1. I don't know how that even can possibly begin to keep up with my receiver room, but my running back room, can possibly keep up with his, with Kamara, Chuba, somebody along that line, Ken Walker, RJ Harvey. There's guys that are definitely the upside plays here that you can get that I feel like, he's not going to be able to get these kinds of talents at receiver. We're probably going to go running back here. We could take Jalen Hurts. I just think we're getting way too far behind at running back to do that. I don't know. Jalen Hurts at a pretty big discount here to pair up with Devontae Smith. I feel like that's a pretty common pairing. We're going to do it, actually. We're going to swing for the fences here with our running backs. Probably not going to see a receiver go off the board here for quite some time for me. Those 4 guys there are probably going to do it for me for quite some time here. We might take a few shots at a few guys down the line here, but those 4 guys right there are all pretty good as far as what their ceiling and floor potentials are. So it makes a lot of sense to keep that as it is and start really targeting that running back room that doesn't have anybody in it right now. That needs to play quite a bit of catch up. So sorry if y'all heard that. Chuba Hubbard off the board, Ken Walker off the board. So let's take a look at everybody's builds here real quick. So this guy also does not have any running backs. He has Justin Jefferson, Rashee Rice, Marvin Harrison, George Kittle, George Pickens. Pretty solid start here overall. For in the threes, we got 3 running backs off the board here. Nico, Drake, Brees, Kyron, Ken. Then we got Neighbors, Achane, Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels, Joe Mixon, Amon-Ra, Brian Thomas, Josh Allen, Tet McMillan, Alvin Kamara. I like that team quite a bit. Ashton Genty, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, DJ Moore, Jordan Addison. Pretty good. Jamar T, Chase Brown, DK Metcalf, Jalen Waddle. I mean, this guy's probably just going to take Joe Burrow and have the whole Bengals offense, which, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad bet, but I feel like it's a very common bet as it stands. Puka at the 102, Trey McBride, Tyreek Hill, Travis Hunter, and Amarion Hampton. Very unique team, I must say. I probably would not draft that way, but, what do I know? Again, Zay Flowers, Xavier Worthy, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. Not a fan of that team either. You have really good running backs, don't get me wrong, but how in the world is Xavier Worthy and Zay Flowers going to keep up with in the threes or my receiver rooms? It's just not happening. Simply put, it's just not going to happen. Let's see. I am going to be taking Judkins here as my RB1. Judkins is a guy that I've been taking quite a bit of. He's also a guy I highly believe in and feel like he is going to be a very good pick this year. I feel like he's extremely undervalued with where he's currently going. And like I said, I feel like he's extremely valuable. I feel like he's the second best RB this year for the rookie class as far as performance goes. I think he will probably get more opportunities than Amarion Hampton simply because Najee Harris is there with the Chargers. If something happens to Najee and maybe, that changes, that can change that prediction as well. But I get that they also drafted Samson in Cleveland, but I don't know that how much Samson really affects Judkins. Personally, Jerome Ford's also there in Cleveland, but I think Judkins has shown enough in camp to warrant having the workload of 20 carries a game, and I think that's who he's going to be, especially by season end. So that's kind of where I'm at with Judkins. Maybe it's a little higher than most people, but that's where I'm at currently. I do think that another guy in this range that's interesting is DeAndre Swift and Monty. I do think both those guys are actually interesting picks. Monty is a little bit less upside, more floor. I do think that he's still going to be heavily involved if Dan Campbell has anything to say about it, which he's the head coach, so why wouldn't he? DeAndre Swift, Ben Johnson really didn't love DeAndre Swift his first go around, so it kind of makes me a little concerned with that they eventually replace him. I don't know that it's going to be this year that they replace him. So, I mean, he's going to have to work with what he's got, and I think DeAndre Swift is good enough for that reason alone. I just don't know how great he truly is, but I do think he is worth a swing and just to see what he can be this season. I do think he's worth a pick here. He's looked okay in camp. He's kind of put on some muscle. We'll see. I mean, he's been fairly consistent as a running back over the years. I think this is one of the earliest he's been drafted. I don't know that he's ever been this early as a pick, but at the end of the day, our team needs running backs to get filled out, and we're taking running backs to fill it out. So We're trying to get some guys with some upside. DeAndre Swift, maybe he could potentially break out and be a top 15 to 12 finisher at the RB position, because there is really nobody behind him. Roschon Johnson's really the only sense of competition that he has, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of Roschon Johnson either. So anything that's good anyways out of Roschon. Let me rephrase myself. There's not been a lot of good come from Roschon Johnson yet. I do think Roschon Johnson is a very clear buy, though, in these drafts, because we really haven't seen anything from Swift either. So, I mean, that makes it to where it's like, who gets hot, and whoever does get hot is probably going to be the guy for the year, and then they're going to go draft somebody next year. A popular pick for this team is getting Jeremiah Love or Nick Singleton or somebody like that next year, which makes a lot of sense. Maybe Darius Taylor, somebody like that on this team would make a lot of sense. Jonah Coleman, maybe. I don't think Jonah Coleman really fits what they need, but Jonah Coleman could be a guy that we're talking about with that team as well. There's a lot of different guys that are in next year's class that I feel like just take the spot of Swift and take the spot of Roschon Johnson. So there's a lot of drafting room here for this team to be able to do what it needs to do and keep it pushing. So that kind of worries me along with Swift next year, but obviously we don't got to worry about next year because we are in this year. So I think Swift is a fine pick for this year. I think he's a one-year guy. We'll see what happens after that. But, Tony Pollard falling this low is kind of crazy because he's definitely the lead back there. And this whole thing with, we're going to give Tajay Spears some carries. I don't know how much I'm buying that. But I could be wrong. We're going to go ahead. I know we said we weren't going to buy receiver, but I feel like receiver is the best pick here on the board. Cooper Kupp was having actually a really good season until his injury. Obviously he's an older guy now. He's not what he once was, but he still has some boom potential, which is what we're looking for in these best ball tournaments. He has some boom potential. He's shown that he has some boom potential. Is he with Matthew Stafford anymore? No. He's with Sam Darnold, which is a huge downgrade in my opinion. But at the end of the day, it is still Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp can still give us some flashes of some upside here. I do think he's viable of a pick here. We're hoping that we can maybe get a Travis Etienne here. Tyrone Tracy, I don't mind. Either one of those guys, realistically speaking, are okay. I think Etienne has a little less competition than Tracy's going to have. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what Cam Scatabo ends up turning into, but I think Tracy's the lead guy there as well, personally. And I just don't really see that moving or shifting anytime soon. So we see Amarion Hampton, David Montgomery, Puka Tyreek. I don't know why I said Tua. Probably because I was looking at the Dolphins logo. Let's see. Golden, Kyler Murray, Trav Kelce off the board. Jonathan Taylor. Let's see. See, like this receiver room is not even touching my receiver room in my eyes. Takes Etienne, so I guess we're going to go Tracy, which is fine with me. I'm okay with taking Tyrone Tracy. I would prefer Etienne to Tracy, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Not a huge deal. I do think that Tracy isn't as good as Etienne's outcome here, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing either. Let's see. We'll see what kind of values there at running back. Next pick, if there is any. Freiermuth was a really popular late tight end for me to draft, and now I'm not even going to be able to touch him because of the Jonnu Smith stuff. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to touch him anymore, which kind of sucks. It is what it is at the end of the day. You got to do what you got to do, and unfortunately, that one is just one that nobody can really mess with anymore. Sucks, but it is what it is. Seeing how my fantasy baseball team did today. Let's see. I chose a good day to sit Mezarowski. Dylan Cease had a really bad day. Let's see. Hunter Brown did pretty well today. Eovaldi had 5 shutout innings. Kikuchi had 7 Ks in 5 2/3. Pretty solid day for this department, anyways. 2 wins, 34 Ks in 34 innings, a 3.1 ERA, and a 1.18 WHIP. Not a bad little day. Okay, Bo Nix falling this far is crazy. Even if you don't have Cortland Sutton, like I was gonna take him there if you know. So I think best value here is Dak to pair up with CD. If we don't get Dak, then we can wait. But I think we're gonna go. Actually, we could creep out a running back or a tight end here. We're gonna go Tyler Warren or Njoku. I think we're gonna go Njoku. We're gonna get our tight end here. If we have to, we'll take Justin Herb. I'm cool with taking Herbert. So he takes Dak to pair up with Pickens. That's fine. I can take Justin Herbert. Not a big deal. I think they project pretty closely. I also think Herbert's going to get a chance to actually throw the football this year, which is nice. I get it's in a Greg Roman offense. That's not typical, but he's got the weapons now. He's got Trey Harris. He's got Quentin Johnston, who showed size last year. Ladd McConkey grew as a receiver last year. Amarion Hampton and Najee Harris kind of help open up that passing game quite a bit as well, off the play action and stuff. So I do feel like they can get really, really, really creative with this team and go from there. There's a chance that he takes Justin Herbert, unfortunately. I should have probably taken Dak because he's probably going to go Herbert if he's smart. He goes Herbert, which he doesn't. So we got lucky. We got blessed because he's got Hampton and Harris. So he could have soaked up quite a bit of that Chargers offense. And then this guy goes Herbert out of the blue. Okay, I guess that's the end of that. We can go Love. Love's fine, I guess. Yeah, Love is okay. Drake May, I'm not really a huge advocate for here. But we could get the other side of that Jets game. That actually is kind of interesting to get Henry. So yeah, we're going to do that, actually. We're going to go Drake May. Get the other side of this Jets kind of week 17. And go with it from there. That's kind of a deciding factor. I guess we could do. Maybe we get Kyle, maybe we don't. Highly unlikely we get Kyle, but we could at least pair him with Hunter Henry later with Njoku in our tight end room and have Hunter Henry, David Njoku. And then we also still are starting CD, Ladd, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Cooper Kupp as our receivers. I think that's a pretty good receiver room nonetheless. We have Judkins, Swift, Tracy. A little thinner there than we'd like to be, but we do have a couple quarterbacks here. That's probably the last quarterback we'll draft. I don't even think we need to look at them anymore. So there's that news or that tidbit. Let's see. Let's see. Anyway, CJ Stroud off the board. Isaiah Likely, Dalton Kincaid. Let's go ahead and take a peek here at everybody's roster. Kind of see what's going on here. Justin Fields, Jordan Love, CJ Stroud. I don't really know the purpose in taking 3 quarterbacks when you have Fields and Love. Like, I don't really get that. Oh, shit, I'm on the clock. We did get Kyle Williams to fall back, so that's pretty nice. Didn't think we were going to get that 15 picks past ADP, but hey, is what it is. We'll take that. happily take that. I do think we need to take more running backs. I think Goddard's a very viable another tight end that we could take, even though he's the same bye week as Njoku. I'm not too worried about that. Hunter Henry, another guy we can buy that is an interesting buy in my eyes. Let's see. Who else do we got as options? Eckler. Eckler had a surprisingly efficient season last year, which, I mean, take that for what it is, but 366 receiving yards and 367 rushing yards. It's not bad, all things considered. They really didn't draft anybody to bring in to really compete with that, so I feel like that is definitely a guy that's very viable who can get you a couple weeks potentially. And if something happens to B-Rob, well, guess what? Austin Eckler probably fills in that role. I was going to say, if we get Trey Benson, that'd be huge. I've been a huge advocate for Trey Benson this year. I don't know why he bought both of them, but what do I know? I personally, if I'm buying the handcuff to somebody, I'm not making the bet on them to be good in the first place. Anyways, so I don't know why he would buy that, but that'd be like me saying I want to take Roschon Johnson here. It's not my cup of tea. Get some guys in the queue ready to go. Jalen Wright, Tank Bigsby, Hunter Henry. In the queue. Tank Bigsby off the board. I do think Tank has some sneaky upside this year. Obviously, he's not really a receiving guy, but I do think he can get quite a bit of carries. I don't know that Tootin's really a guy for this team. The Dynasty guys love Tootin. I'm not super fond of him. I don't think everybody can be Devon Achane at this point, and that's the type that he would have to be as a Devon Achane to be successful. And I don't see that in his realm of outcomes. So it kind of concerns me a little bit there with that. But yeah. We're going to try to add to our running back room here and get Jalen Wright first. If Henry falls, great. If not, we still have Goddard. And we can get a third tight end, which is fine. I think Jalen Wright is a big tier gap here. Him and Roschon, those guys are both very big gaps here. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jalen Wright. I've been taking quite a bit of Jalen Wright. I do think he's the exclusive backup, and I think he has standalone value too. You know, Devon Achane, going back to that discussion, I don't think Devon Achane is a guy that's going to get 250-plus carries. You know, that's just not Devon Achane's game. He's a very big receiving kind of back, and they need a guy like Jalen Wright to be able to warrant some of those carries because Achane's not big enough to handle those amount of carries. At the end of the day, you know, Achane last season, we're looking at 203 carries. I mean, I don't really know how much more he can go than that. You know, 250 is definitely a high number for a guy like Devon Achane, and I'm not willing to buy that as a thing that can happen. So somebody's got to take some carries, and it's probably going to be Jalen Wright. Ollie Gordon might get a chance. We'll see. I just am not sure that Ollie Gordon is really that good. Didn't show a whole lot coming out, so, you know, I could be wrong, but I'm just not a big Ollie Gordon fan, so take that for what it's worth. This guy's got Dak, Kyler, and Cam Ward. Already has his tight end. He takes Hunter Henry for his third tight end. And he has Laporta. I don't really understand that, but it is what it is. You live and you learn. We'll probably draft Old Man Ertz. Probably good. Yep, that's who we're going to draft. We're going to draft Old Man Washington Ertz to get on the other side of CeeDee Lamb. Makes sense in that regard. That's about it. It's about the only thing that makes sense there. So, But so far we got Jalen Hurts, Drake May, Quinshon Judkins, DeAndre Swift, Tyrone Tracy, Austin Eckler, Jalen Wright, CeeDee Lamb, Ladd McConkey, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Cooper Kupp, Kyle Williams, David Njoku, and Zach Ertz is the team so far. Pretty good start, I would say. Pretty good team to round it out here. We only got the last, 3 rounds to go. So got 3 more selections that we get to take. And then we are done with this draft for the Pitbull. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid team. One of the first teams I got to build in this one, unfortunately, I had to auto draft because I lost internet connection, and it is absolutely stinky. It's horrible. If you want, I can show you guys this real quick while we're waiting. Let's see. I think it was this one. We had Goff, Cam Ward, Aaron Rodgers, RJ Harvey, DeAndre Swift, Brian Robinson Jr., Trey Benson, Rico, Harquez Hunter, Amon-Ra, Drake London, Marvin Harrison, Devontae Smith, Zay Flowers, Kyle Williams, Pat Bryant, TJ Hawkinson, Mason Taylor. Maybe it wasn't that bad, honestly. It might have been this. Yeah, I think it was this one because I'd never take Shuck, especially with Jaden and Trevor. Jaden, Trevor, Shuck, Devon Achane, Alvin Kamara, Pacheco's, Charbonnet, Tajay Spears, Austin Eckler, Brian Thomas Jr., Tet McMillan, Jerry Jeudy, Cooper Kupp, DeAndre Hopkins, Andre Yoshi Vash, which I would probably have some receivers help here because we need it. Mark Andrews, Bretton Strange, and Zach Ertz because we really needed a receiver help, and we took 2 running backs here instead. That honestly I don't think we really needed, and a quarterback that I don't think we really needed. But anyways, getting back into this guy, we're probably going to go Justice Hill just to get another guy that can get on the field in negative game scripts, which the Ravens could face a little bit more this year. Their division got a little stronger. So it's definitely possible that could be the case for them. They do face some less positive game scripts, for lack of better wording there. It's definitely possible. And it's definitely something that I feel could get him on the field because when Derrick Henry is on the field, they're usually leading. When he's off the field, they're not leading. So Justice Hill has put up some games when they're not leading. I mean, that's the cold-nosed truth of it. Like, he's actually had some very good games when they haven't been leading. So I feel like that's something I'm willing to buy. Keenan Allen at this 195 price tag, 196 price tag is just crazy to me. 200's ADP almost for a guy who honestly could still be a wide receiver too in the NFL. Showed that he could still play last year. I get it. He's not on a team yet, but he will be. And when he is on a team, it's going to be, his ADP is going to shoot up at least 30 spots. I'm just being honest here. Same with like Amari Cooper as a last round click. Like, I'm more than happily taking Amari Cooper in the last round. If I can. If not, then if you're not, I don't know. I think you're missing out on quite a bit of upside there. I do think Nick Chubb is a very, very fun guy to have here. I think we have one more pick left. I think we need a tight end more than a receiver. I think these receivers are perfectly capable. I think we need a tight end, though. Terrence Ferguson is a guy I like to click. Elijah Arroyo. One of those 2 guys are probably going to be the way we round that draft out. Elijah Arroyo goes off the board right there. So hopefully Ferguson makes it back to us is kind of the hope. We'll see. But, I mean, honestly, the Rams are a great team that I like to draft this year. I have a lot of belief in that team this year. I honestly didn't know that if he was going to be great, if they, like Stafford and them were going to be great next, like previous years, and then they almost made the Super Bowl. So, we'll see. Oh, wow. They just tweeted that the Kevin Durant deal is probably going to be a 7-team trade. That's insane. Okay. I wonder what that's going to look like when it's all said and done. Terrence Ferguson off the board for him. And that works for me. I mean, Terrence Ferguson's been a very common last round click for me. I think he has a lot of upside to offer. I think he could be just as good as Zach Ertz. To be honest, I think he's probably might be better than Zach Ertz by the end of the year. But yeah, that's gonna do it on that draft. So yeah, we end up with a 2-7-6. Let me look. Let me make sure I'm right here. 2-7-6-3 build. Not necessarily the most common thing ever, but definitely gets the job done. You took your jabs at running back. You have your receiver room that's really solid. So we live and we move on. We live and we move on. We'll do one more pit bull here. Puts us halfway through the pit bulls. Let's see. We've already done the corgi, however you say that. We didn't really do that many super flex drafts. I'm not really a huge fan of those. Weekly winners, I'm not doing those because I hate those. I would love to do one of these big dogs just one time, but I don't know how likely it is I do that. That's a very expensive draft. The Greyhound, I hope they do more contests like this, where it's like $50, $35, and it's a small amount of entrants. I like that quite a bit. I like those kind of contests. The Eliminator, I'm not really a huge fan of the Eliminator. The Marathon is fine, I guess, but if I'm going to do the Marathon, then I'm just going to go to freaking drafters and do it. So not really my cup of tea on Underdog. But, you know, if it's for you, it's for you. If you don't like drafters, then, you know. Basically, I'm doing almost every contest but their flagship contest this year. I just think this contest, there's too many entries in it, A. B, people are just so much sharper on here than any other platform. It just feels like such a waste. Such a negative EVV play for me. We do get pick 5 here, so we might get another CeeDee Lamb team, which is fine, but not really exactly what we want there, but we'll take it. It is what it is. I don't know. I feel like Drafters offers quite a bit more EVV positively correlated just because it's not as sharp. So oh, they announced the National League All-Star starters. Will Smith. Oh, I'm up. Shit. Well, another CeeDee Lamb team because that's what we were gonna do anyways. Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Ketel Marte, Manny Machado, Francisco Lindor, Ronald Acuna, Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, Shohei Ohtani. Okay. And that's fine, but let's see. Do they have the American League one out? Yep. American League All-Star starters. You have Cal Raleigh, Vlad Jr., Gleyber Torres, J. Ram, Jacob Wilson, Aaron Judge, Riley Green, Javi Baez, and Ryan O'Hearn. Javi Baez making an all-star team. Huh. That's funny. That's a really funny one. I'm not going to lie. That kind of made me smile a little bit. Javi Baez. Oh, man. That's a good one. Javi Baez making an all-star team. That's crazy. I didn't think that was ever going to happen again. If Achane somehow falls to me, it's probably not going to happen, but if he does, that'd be freaking huge. Yeah, I didn't think so. Okay. I tried to speak it into existence here. Who did the Cowboys play again? It was the Washington. I mean, I don't want to get super weird here, but we're going to go Tyreek. I was thinking about reaching for Terry and going Jaden Daniels off of that, but we can take Jaden Daniels and Debo and kind of go that route. Lad McConkey, isn't he still sitting there? No, he went pick before me. Okay. I thought Lad McConkey was still sitting there. I was like, wow, that's a huge discount. To get Jamar and Lad, that'd be huge. But Space Needle does the most common thing everybody does at this point and takes T. Higgins and Jamar Chase together. And Chase Brown. See what I mean? Like, everybody's doing that. So, it's not really a unique way to build. So, if Josh Jacobs is there, I'll probably go Jacobs over the Jaden Daniels thing, which it goes right off the board as soon as I say it. We're going to go ahead and take a reach here. I know it's a reach, but it's a way to get unique. I think it's a logical way to get unique. That Washington-Dallas game could be a blowout or a shootout, I guess I should say. And I want a part of it if I can. So, you know, neither defense is really like immaculately amazing every year. So that's kind of why I want a piece of it. I do think it's a very fun type of thing to build for. So let's see. We're up in 7 picks. Josh and Lamar haven't gone off the board yet. Terry's still sitting there looking at me at 31. See, this is what I'm saying. If you're drafting Terry, you're trying to draft Jaden Daniels and get the stack, but you're not just taking Terry by himself. I think this just all but proves that theory. To me, anyways. I mean, we have guys taking Jameson Williams over Terry McLaurin. Like, that just tells me everything I want to know about Terry McLaurin, you know. Terry McLaurin goes off the board at pick 40, almost 10 picks past ADP. Like, that's just... it's a little crazy. Who's on the other side of the Niners for that week? Week 17, the big one. I know the week 17 stuff gets a little bit overdragged, but Chicago, okay. I still think Kittle's a really good pick here. Kittle and Devontae Smith are better picks than these two, in my eyes. And I'm good with either one. I'll just go ahead and do that. All right, so I think we're going to go Kittle here. I mean, Devontae Smith is just such a good pick, dude. But I think we're going to go Kittle. I think it makes a lot of sense to go Kittle here. Get one of the better tight ends. I think it makes a lot of sense. Devontae Smith is your receiver one. That is a horrible, 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 horrible idea. But hey, again, I'm just here existing in a world where I don't know anything, I guess. You know, that's what I'm doing. Just existing. Jalen Hurts off the board. Interesting start here. I don't mind it though. And we're up on the clock here. We're going to take Calvin Ridley, best pick on the board. Also adds to our receiver room. Helps build that out. We haven't taken an RB yet, which I'm more than fine with. I do think Calvin Ridley is an insanely valuable pick. Travis Hunter, to me, at pick 50, I'm just not there. If he's a 6th round, 7th round kind of guy, then I'm there, but I'm just not there until he's that. And he's probably not ever going to be that again, so it's tough for me to click Travis Hunter these days. I have a very hard time doing it. So that's where I'm at with Travis. I'm just not a huge fan, especially at that price. Not really the price I'm looking to pay for a guy who's still going to play defense. I get it. They said that he's going to be important on offense as well, but that's not my body. It's not what I want. Oh, man, the Devy draft. There's some people taking some rookies here while I'm freaking trying to freaking do this. Jesus. No, I don't want a 2026 4th round pick to move back a whole round. That's just not happening. I'm trying to move up, and this guy wants me to move back. Like, it's just not happening. Sorry. It's just not. All right, RJ Harvey off the board, Jawan Jennings, Rome Dunze, Alvin Kamara off the board, Travion Henderson. Lots of RBs going here. Makes sense. Probably going to have Judkins again. May go David Montgomery just to change it up a little. If Godwin's there, though, we kind of have to go for Godwin, I feel. Unfortunately, these guys are just reaching so heavily on running back that even if Godwin is there, that's probably who I'm taking is Godwin or Judy. One of those two. I will just continue to pass on running back one more time and hope to God I can just hammer the crap out of running backs. Addison off the board. Because I think these two are better picks than the running backs here. Personally. We're just going to queue them up. Godwin off the board. I would say Judy goes off the board. No, Judy's still there. All right, Judy it is. I think Judy's a better pick than all these running backs. You guys might not agree with this, but like this is going in. We could have taken Debo. I think Debo is just not that great of a pick to pair up with Jaden. I mean, we can get Ertz later. That's fine if you want to stack it. If you care about stacking it, I just think Judy's just far away and ahead, better pick here. Head and shoulders above the rest, so to speak. I think you could take a chance on Pacheco being good again. I think that's a very viable strat. Laporta off the board. Not too long ago, we were talking about Pacheco, with 200 points here, 935 yards, 244 yards receiving. That's not that long ago. It's only a year ago before he was injured. And last year he tried to come back and didn't look great. Everybody saw he didn't look great. I mean, I think a lot of that was injury. I could talk myself into him being good. If Debo falls to me here again, I'm just going to smack receiver one last time. And then we're just going to hammer running backs because I feel like that's going to have to be my mainstay. I need at least one. I don't think Debo's going to fall to me, though. I don't even think I'm going to have the choice. So Swift off the board. Because I think this guy's probably going to go Debo if I had to take a guess. Which I'm okay with, It is what it is. Golden off the board. Judkins is still sitting there, though. I might go Judkins again. Judkins is a really good pick. I like Judkins more than I do Debo personally, but Debo had one good year, and that was really about it. Yeah, Debo off the board. We're going to go Judkins again here. We get Judkins around later than what we did last time, which I am more than happy with getting that. We've been buying these, like, Cleveland, Jerry Jeudy, Quinton Judkins. Like, I'm fine with that. I'm not buying the quarterback, whoever it is. I don't really care who it is. I think it's going to be a very focalized offense with Njoku, Jeudy, and Judkins. I'm okay with taking Samson at the end, like when I don't get Judkins, just for that upside as well. That Dylan Sampson's the receiving guy, and he actually gets the work with that, and they're playing from behind a lot, and that's the key to their winning, or key to their fantasy success, is Dylan Sampson. I'm okay with playing that route if I don't get Judkins, but it seems like in a lot of rooms I'm getting Judkins, so take that for what it is. I do think this is an interesting team. Like I said, the Jaden Daniels reach, the Reek reach. This is kind of like a little bit more unique team, so to speak. I definitely do like it, though. I think Reek is a very good play to really bank on upside. Ridley, I think, should be going way higher than what he is. Maybe a round or two. Jerry Jeudy. I mean, he quietly put up a 1,300-yard season last year with pretty bad quarterbacks. I mean, let's be real. Like, quarterbacks he had really were not that talented. Not that great. Jerry Jeudy still managed to do it. So, I mean, he's the focalized point in that offense. So, it's kind of how I feel about it. Harrison Meow. I don't even know how to say his name. Miami-O. I don't know. I don't know how to say his name. Takes TJ Hawkinson. Jay White, 29, takes Mark Andrews. Mecca Buka is another fun one to talk about because he's a very dynasty-esque kind of guy. Not really a guy I really want to take in best ball drafts, but I do think he's okay nonetheless. I don't think he's bad by any means, but I don't think he's great either. I'm hoping to get B-Rob here. We'll see. But Achane and McCaffrey. That's interesting. We do get B-Rob here to kind of pair up with Jaden. That's kind of nice that he slipped to us there. We do like that quite a bit. I think our receiver room's really good. We get a good tight end quarterback. We'll just have to take one extremely late for each and just have 2 and 2 because I think our running back receiver room are both going to need the work. Especially our running back room. So it's kind of where I'm at with that. Etienne, I think it's a really good pick. Tracy is a pick, but I'll still take it. See, the thing about Dobbins is Dobbins is so expensive now that I'm not willing to pay that price. When I paid him at the 170, 180, around where Keenan used to be too. Keenan's just gotten cheaper because it's gotten deeper into the offseason. I just don't see any way possible that Keenan doesn't get signed. Maybe, it's by the Chargers again, and that's fine. Keenan's going to play a role in the slot, and that hurts Quentin Johnston's value quite a bit. I think that could be why Quentin Johnston's so cheap, is just simply due to the fact that is a possibility that could happen. I think Warren's a very interesting pick here. I think Etienne's a very interesting. I think they're both pretty interesting. I think we're going to shoot the upside, though, with Etienne. I think Etienne's a guy that could be pushing RB1 if he, not like overall RB1, but an RB1 type player if things break his way with Liam Cohen. We've seen him do it before. That's one thing I always like to say is we've seen him do it before. It's not like he's aged out. So it's not like he's lost that potentially and is at range of outcomes. Jaylen Warren, I don't think we're ever going to see that. They drafted Caleb Johnson for a reason. They're not going to just sit him. So I think Caleb Johnson's the lead back there, and that's really not a debate, unfortunately. But Jaylen Warren is kind of one of those guys that you have to take him for what he is. He can give you some weeks, and if Caleb Johnson goes down, that's when Jaylen Warren could get interesting if one of them does happen to go down. I do think that's when he gets very, very interesting. Jaylen Warren also has the correlation with with Cleveland. So, I could have taken that as a Week 17 correlator. I decided not to, obviously, because Jacksonville has the Colts, and I think the Colts are not that good of a team. And I also think that Travis Etienne, like I said, in his realm of outcomes, has RB1 potential. So, we got to get as many of those guys as we can, because we obviously don't have that many good running backs right now. Our receiver room's good, our tight end room's good, our quarterback room's good, but our running back room is just not where it needs to be. It needs to play the catch-up game, so to speak. I'm good with taking Ramondre. I'm also good with taking Najee. I think I'd be more apt to take Ramondre, though, in this spot. Yeah, I think I'm more apt to take Ramondre. Well, he took Najee, so he made it easy for me. Let's go ahead and take Ramondre Stevenson here. I think Ramondre is a very fun pick. Travion's good, don't get me wrong, but I think Travion could end up being like a third down, like passing role kind of back for a while, and Ramondre takes the bulk of the like 1-2 work, the passing down or the running downs work. I don't think this is by any means too expensive for him. I think he's shown that he's good previously. He has shown that he does have a fumbling problem. We all know he does, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad choice to try to make that swing happen and run with it. He's definitely a premier backup, if at worst. At the worst, he's one of the premier backups that you can get. Plays for a decent offense. I mean, I've already talked about how decent I think their offense is. 15, 16, 17 schedule's not that great, so he's probably an advance rate play anyway. That's how you kind of got to view him. So, Njoku, I'm not buying in this draft just because I already have 2 Browns and I do not need more. Jonnu, I'm not buying the Steelers. I'm just not doing it. Especially Jonnu now. Sorry, Jonnu, but I like Kraft a lot more now than I did. I think Kraft's a very interesting pick as well. I don't know that he's necessarily an amazing pick, but I think he's a fun pick. So we're going to go Kraft here and be done at tight end. We're done at tight end now. We don't even got to look at him anymore. We still need one more quarterback, which I will be more than happy to take a Tua or even a Cam Ward. I'm more than happy to take 1 or 2 of those guys. Just decent quarterback play is all we really need there. We don't need anything super spectacular. We don't need anything crazy. We have Jaden Daniels for most weeks anyways, and we hope that guy can fill in for a week 12. So that's kind of what we're hoping, is Jaden Daniels is still a top 5 kind of guy that we can rely on most weeks. Keep it moving. So far we have Jaden Daniels, Quinshon Judkins, Brian Robinson Jr., Travis Etienne, Ramondre Stevenson, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, Jerry Jeudy, George Kittle, and Tucker Kraft, rounding out the team. Pretty balanced team overall, I would say, so far. Let's kind of look at the board here. We got Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, James Cook, Zay Flowers, Joe Burrow, Khalil Shakir, Michael Pittman, Rashid Shaheed, J.K. Dobbins, Tyler Warren. I'm not huge on this whole, Bengals thing, just because it's if you're taking the whole Bengals offense, it's fine, I guess, but you're hoping last year repeats itself, and last year was a pretty freaking good year. It's pretty hard to repeat that and can keep that consistency. But that's not really something I want to do, is get the whole team like this in best ball. I get it. They're a very high upside offense as a whole. I would want 2 pieces at best, not 3. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Bijan, Rashee Rice, Marvin Harrison Jr., George Pickens, Chuba Hubbard, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Higgins, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, David Njoku. This team is really fun. I like this team a lot. We're on the board here. We're probably going to go with one more running back here, either Rachaad White or Garindo. I'm probably going to go Garindo Actually, Tajay Spears makes a lot of sense here. We're going to go Tajay. Because Tajay Spears actually has a chance to have some standalone value also. And he makes a lot of sense. 1542. Like I said, I think our 4 receivers here are very good. I think we could take a jab at 2 more. We don't really, need anything else as far as the receivers, but we need guys that can fill. So, we have 18 rounds. So we have 14 picks here, and we need we need 7-7 probably. So we could go 8-6, or we could go 7-7 on the running back receiver, because we're only going to have 2 and 2. So at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. We're going to have 2 and 2. 2 is probably out of the question here. Probably just going to go Ward and, heavily reach on him. We'll see. Just to make sure that I do get him. But I'm not really interested in these guys. I'd be more interested in Garendo or Eckler or Algier, one of those 3, than I am in those receivers. So I think we can wait on Pat Bryant or somebody of that along that line, or we could just take our guy at quarterback here, Cam Ward. Keep it moving. Pick Tom Brady. Barry, I hope you're having a good night, man. Hope all is well. Welcome in. Pick Tom Brady, man. If only there was a Tom Brady still, only that existed. Here, I will take a quarterback though, and Cam Ward. I almost said Will Levis, and Cam Ward. How about that? Is that close enough? Close enough to Tom Brady? I don't see much difference. Let's see. Hope you guys are having a good festivities weekend as well. It's almost July 4th, man. We're already halfway through the year of 2025, and I feel like I just blinked and it went by. So crazy times to think about that we're already halfway through the year. Kind of shocking, to be honest. It's one of those things where I did get a new job this year, so great news on that. I've been enjoying my new job. It's definitely been an experience, and it's definitely taught me a lot. And it's been a good time, man. It really has. And this year has been a lot better than last. Last year, for those who don't know, I had 2 drunk driver hit and runs happen, basically. We've had 9 insurance claims on our cars, 3 or 4 totaled cars because of it. And in my car alone, I've had 4 insurance claims on them, or on my car, and I have not been in the car one time for any of those insurance claims. So you can only imagine what that did to my insurance. And whether it be a drunk driver or snow crashing our carport, or a lawnmower putting a rock through my window, or a tree limb falling off a tree going through my sunroof, you can only imagine. So it is what it is. We live and we learn. What are you doing for the 4th? So the 4th of July, I will be going to, so we have fireworks on the Ohio River. I don't really care. I live in Indiana. We have fireworks on the river. We are going to go ahead and take Xavier Legette here for an upside swing. Kind of to pause that for a second. So we have fireworks on the river, and basically my new workplace is right on the river as well. And it's like a 8 or 9 story building. And basically, I will be taking my family to that building, and we will be watching the fireworks on the river from that building from like the 7th floor or so. They haven't seen where I work. They've seen the building, but they haven't been to my cubicle or anything like that. So I will be kind of showing them around a little bit of what I do, and kind of, also enjoying the festivities and the fireworks. So hopefully you guys, like I said, have some plans for the 4th. Don't plan to get too drunk. I will put this out there as a disclaimer. If you're planning to drink and drive, please just don't. Call a cab, call a friend, call a parent, call somebody else, and have them drive you. But have a good time, nonetheless. Have a good time. I mean, by all means. I'm never opposed to that. but at the same time, be safe. At the end of the day, just be safe. Holy shit, where do you live? Hey, I mean, I live in Indiana, so I kind of said that already, but I just saw that. What's up, Curry? Welcome back. What's the word? Oh, just repping some drafts. Doing the same things, that we're doing here 2 or 3 times a week. If you guys are new here, drop a like, a thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. Helps me grow, helps my videos get out there, helps my live streams get out there, and kind of helps me grow as a channel. For those that are new here, Barry, I haven't seen your name here before, so I'm going to kind of go into this little spiel for a second. I do. Sorry. Anyway, I do best ball content for Underdog and Drafters. I do Dynasty / Devi content, which just my last live stream, I broke down my first ever Devi draft. So if you guys want to go check that live stream out, you can. It's about an hour long, a little over an hour long. And it's gotten quite a bit of good feedback from what I've received on Twitter from people. And it's something that, I might do more of. We'll see. You guys like to hear the degenerates talk about college players? I'm learning. You like to hear about potentials and what kind of, the outside looks like for them and things like that. So, that might be something I look to do a little bit more than what I have previously. You guys also like the best ball drafts for the most part, from what I've heard feedback-wise too. So, I'm kind of trying to find, I'm trying to cater it to all the audiences I can on this channel and have kind of content for everything if I can. I really want to post more. I haven't really decided on what videos I want to do yet, like just videos, recording and kind of uploading. Maybe that's where I do my player takes. I don't know. I haven't really decided that yet. I'm not in any rush to do it. I don't want to rush it. I want to do it the right way. And I want to do it in a way that is sustainable for me to continue to do it and be consistent. And right now I'm being consistent and being able to provide you guys with this kind of thing. So I want to continue to do what I've been doing and not necessarily, I'm not going to say overdo it, but I don't want to stretch my time so thin that it's putting a damper on everything. That's kind of the big thing. So I'm just trying to make sure that I balance it out, balance life and balance this. So do your thing, prime time. The followers will come. I hope so. I mean, I'm not, I don't really do this for the follows. I mean, if it happens, it happens. This is more so like a hobby thing. It's something that I do for fun and I enjoy doing it. So, and I enjoy talking football. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's one of those things I enjoy doing and I like talking football. So, and it's an easy outlet. And right now we're in the dead part of the season. So July is very dead. What's up, creations? Hope all is well. Welcome in. If you're new, welcome in. Have you done the Superflex drafts? Yes. So Superflex drafts, if you're referring to redraft leagues, I have not. I have done the Superflex drafts a little bit on Underdog, not very much. We're gonna go ahead and take Keenan Allen here as our last receiver. Like I said previously, Keenan Allen that cheap is just stupid, in my opinion. I think it's just dumb. Once he signs, he's shooting up 30, 40, maybe even 50 picks. I'm just being honest. You're not going to be able to get Keenan Allen that cheap for this long. But anyways, I have done like 8 or 9 Superflex drafts in Underdog. I always do super drafts with my Devi and Dynasty leagues. I also do Superflex. If I do play redraft, I try to make it Superflex. I try to make the redraft stuff and the Devi and the Dynasty stuff as deep as possible. For starting lineups, start 10, start 11, stuff like that. I haven't gone past 11, just because in a 12-team league, after starting 11 players, it's so hard to build depth anyways. And on top of that, it's like we're doing like 30-round drafts, 25-round drafts. So we're already getting the not so great players anyways. So waiver wires are pretty thin. So it makes a lot of sense to do Superflex and stuff just to have quarterbacks have driven value. So yeah, I do like to do Superflex stuff, but I haven't really done it a whole lot on Underdog, so to speak. They're just so different from the norm. Yeah, they are. And the thing is like, I think Superflex in a best ball format, I don't love it in a best ball format. Now, in like your home leagues and stuff, I love it. I love Superflex. The only thing I'll play really at all. I hate everything else that's not Superflex. Because I feel like the quarterback position in real life is honestly one of the most valued positions, or should be, and it shows that in that regard. I definitely do believe that it's something that needs to be looked at in best ball as an option a little bit more often than it is. But I don't know that it's like a make or break thing. See, here, I'll show you real quick. Let's see. Where is my Superflex? Yeah, I've done 9 teams in Superflex, and this is when there was like nothing for me to do. So we can go to the first team here. Mahomes, Kyler, Bryce, Travion, Judkins, Robinson, Tootin, Ray Davis, J.K. See what I mean? Like J.K. Dobbins, you're never getting him this cheap ever again. Like that's probably about what's going to happen to Keenan Allen when Keenan Allen gets picked up, his contract. I just, that's what I foresee happening anyways. Love me some redraft. The more that I've dove in, the more that I don't like redraft at this point. Like, I'm not a big redraft guy anymore. It's not fun to me. It's a lot of luck, and I don't like playing a game of luck. I like playing a game of skill. And that to me it's just, I don't love it. It's not my forte anymore. I'll put it that way. But yeah, I've done some Superflex stuff, creations. Not a ton, but enough to be dangerous on Underdog. But we're gonna head over to Drafters and do a draft over here now. Looks like we just missed one. So if you guys haven't got on Drafters yet, I'm gonna go ahead and change my banner here real quick. So this is the Drafters code. You could use KG. We will be having sponsored streams, as it says there, twice a week by Drafters. I've already done one this week. I need to do another one. I'm trying to keep it consistent. So might be tomorrow night, might be Saturday night. We'll see. Not really sure. So I've been off work. I was off work today. I'm off work tomorrow. I'm off work Friday for the 4th. So I've kind of been losing track of days a little bit. Let's see. Here's the good news. If you do deposit $100 with my code, they match a $100 deposit. So it'll be $200. That's pretty much half a max on this already. So you already have half your max pretty much on this, which is nice. The goal, if you want to enter these contests, I feel like, is to do this in mass sums. You want to be able to get some volume in, I guess, for lack of better wording. You do want to be able to get some volume. And they give you a pretty good price point here at $3 each draft to do it. So, and I feel like Drafters, the edge is a lot better than it is on Underdog. I feel like Underdog, they're a lot sharper. So take that for what it is as well. We now have, I believe, 5 pit bulls done. Yes, 5 pit bulls. 5 of the 10. That's pretty solid for the time being. I don't know that we're going to get the other 5 done. I might do it with my check this week. I don't know. We'll see. But Drafters needs a lot of attention. It needs 150 drafts thrown at it. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I also don't really have the time to go through and, do that. These are a lot easier for me to get done than 150. So the goal with Drafters is usually to get about halfway and kind of keep up with the contest as we go. Obviously, the contest just opened today, so it doesn't have that many entries. So that's good. It only has 1,200 entries so far. Nothing crazy. So we're trying to keep up kind of with the percent here as we go. It only has 46,000 slots, so we kind of want to make sure You know, when this hits 23,000, we're about halfway through. If we're not, if we're close, then I'm okay with that. But I would like to be able to max this contest if I can. $3 is not that much, honestly. And for a chance at 25K, I think these are a lot better value. They're a lot easier to draft, in my opinion. You know, taking $3 and drafting this and maxing for 450 is a lot easier than taking this and going 20 by 150, which I believe is 3,000. Yeah, $3,000. Obviously, you get a 500K prize up top, and there's a lot more people in this contest too, so the likelihood of you getting there is a lot harder. But I get why people play this. I mean, I truly do. Now, on the other side of things, this is $3,750 to max, and your upside is 2 million. Like, but you're getting triple, almost triple. Well, actually, more than triple. Yeah, more than triple the participation in this contest than you are the big contest on Drafters. And DraftKings, I haven't gotten on DraftKings. I'm not going to either, at least tonight. But I haven't really looked at DraftKings a whole lot. I know that they're probably the least sharp because the most casual audience is on DraftKings. That's just how it works, how it's always worked. So I can check it on my phone real quick of what kind of price points they have right now, because I'm honestly not even sure myself what they have to offer. But like I said, I haven't really been on DraftKings much at all. Let's see. But I do know they offer the most edge, but their contests are expensive. They're like Underdog in that fact. And personally, like I said, I feel like best ball is a very volume-driven game. So if you don't have the money to max something, I would not advise you to hop in the biggest, most expensive stuff. Unless it's like a single entry. If it's a single entry, then go for it. But, you know, I'm not really a huge fan of anything outside of that. Like right now, DraftKings has a contest, $20 to enter, and it has 882,000 participants. And let's see, it's $20 to enter, and you can do 150. So it's the same price as Drafters. What's the prize pool look like? Let's see. Contest details. Top prize is 2 million in that contest. So like it's cheaper than Underdog, but like it's more participants, so it's harder to win. Let me pull it up real quick. I'll pull up DraftKings. Why not? Let's see. Let me sign in real quick here. While we're waiting. Let me pull it up here. All right. Okay. So as you can see, I have like no balance in DraftKings at all. If we go to NFL, I gotta remember how to do this. Is it contests, maybe? No. Oh yeah, here it is. Nope, never mind. Lobby. I don't remember. Oh, here we go. NFL Best Ball. Okay. So here's that one that I was just referring to. Has 882,000 entries. So like at the end of the day, are you really gonna win this? Probably not. 555. I don't know how many times you can enter into this. Kind of struck my curiosity here. You can enter 150 times if you want into that, which I would never obviously do. $555 per entry. Pretty big entry. Here's a 20 entry max $3 on DraftKings. I think this is a well worth your time to do. How many people are in this? 1.5 million in prizes. Rules and scoring. I don't really care about that right now. Can we not see the... Here we go. So first place takes home 150, and you have a chance to do that with 60 bucks. That's a pretty good reward there in my eyes. That's a pretty good contest to play. $59 to enter this one. You can max entry that one as well. It's rather large price point, but there's only 9,500 entries, so you're not battling a bunch of people in that one as well. You know, there's a lot of different price points on DraftKings as well, so that also is a helpful thing. Yeah, let's get back into the drafting here. We got a drafters draft starting now. Let's see what we got here. We got the number 1 overall pick. Nice. As you can see, we already have one team drafted in this. We did one earlier today. Obviously, we're going to go Jamar Chase. I think that's pretty obvious. I'll show you guys the first team that I did do for that contest. It's this guy here. We have Bo Nix, Anthony Richardson, Tyler Shuck, Ashton Genty, RJ Harvey, Quinshon Judkins, Roshan Johnson, Jalen Wright, Devin Neal, Amon-Ra, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Josh Downs, Marvin Mims, Calvin Austin, David Njoku, Tucker Kraft, Darren Waller, and Terrence Ferguson rounding it out at tight end. So, pretty solid squad nonetheless. I think we wish our quarterbacks were a little bit better behind Bo Nix, but the people on drafters push them up a little bit. So you got to you'll notice that as you start to draft in these rooms a little bit more as you go along here. You know, it helps. It definitely helps. And this is where you self-promo a little bit here and try to get people to come to the stream. I hate to do this, but I do it anyways. Do it anyways. You know, you might get some new people to come watch. You never know. But anyway, I don't know how many people actually check that chat because I usually don't, but you never know. You never know. And the contest just opened today, so like these are the nerds probably a little bit. You know, somebody who opens up drafters for the first time, and then that's not really these guys most of the time. So Justin Jefferson, Bijan Robinson. Another difference between this and Underdog is this is PPR, so receivers do get pushed up a little bit more in this. Not as much, but a little bit. Saquon Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs off the board. And you'll see there is some differences in ADPs from drafters to Underdog. There are some very stark differences. Sometimes there's not. You know, some guys fall around the same place. There's a few guys that don't, though. So like Pat Bryant's a little bit more. A lot of the receivers you'll notice are a little bit more in price. And that's just because of the format. I mean, that's simply put all it is. Honestly, is just the format. So it makes a lot of sense as to why. This will probably be my last draft. So, like I said, if y'all are new here, make sure y'all drop a like, sub to the channel. Appreciate y'all making it this far. If y'all have watched the video this far, drop a comment that says KG, and you might just get a little special prize. After about a week or two. Ashton Genty, Derrick Henry off the board. Not very big fans of starting like that. I don't like start 2 RBs. I don't know if that's been made clear or not, but I don't love it. I get why you would, but I'm just not. That's just not how I like to play. So, it's not how I play typically. We have Rashee Rice going off the board here. Here's one thing I am going to try is this right here, because I feel like this is a lot better for the scene purpose. You don't see my taskbar, and this looks a lot better. Anyway, I think it looks a lot more natural. So, Rashee Rice at pick 19. Rashee Rice goes so early in these drafts, dude. And I mean so early, dude. And Brock Bowers goes late. 21, like pick 21 for Brock Bowers feels pretty good. Starting Bowers, Lamb, like that should feel really good in my eyes. Let me go to my gallery. See, in this contest also, it's all regular season. There's no week 15, 16, 17. It's just draft, which I like too, because then you don't really have to worry about 15, 16, 17 that much. You still can, obviously, but like I personally don't worry about it nearly as much. Jonathan Taylor is going to come off the board here for me. In this format, actually, Chase Brown's a better pick in this format. I'm going to go Chase Brown and pair those two up. And then we're going to kind of sort of look at receiver here. And I think JSN is a really good pick. I think Adams is a good pick. I think Reek is a good pick. I think we're going to go with Devontae Adams. Jonathan Taylor typically doesn't make it that far. And I think Chase Brown is a better pick anyway than Jonathan Taylor in this format, simply due to the fact that it is PPR. Chase Brown is going to get some receiving work, and Jonathan Taylor really doesn't get that much receiving work, regardless of who his quarterback is. I don't think it's going to matter. So it kind of is one of those picks where I'm not really too interested in him in this format, but, you know, he did fall. He was an option. It was a way to get a little bit unique. I decided not to. And as I've said previously, like getting two of those guys in the Bengals offense is good for me. That's enough. That's plenty. You don't need to overkill it like a lot of the guys are doing, because a lot of the guys will take T. Higgins and Chase and Jamar. So it's like that's a little bit overkill to me. Not something I'm really looking to do myself. So Clayton Kershaw got his 3,000th strikeout tonight. Shout out Clayton Kershaw. Max Muncy was helped off the field tonight. Ouch. That's not good. Ooh, it looks bad. Ooh, that does not look good. That does not look good at all. In the slightest, that does not look good. Great. That does not look good. All right, well, that's nice. You guys will tell also that I talk a lot of sports anyway. Regardless of what sport it is, I follow pretty much all the sports. So let's see, Yahoo Fantasy Baseball. I want to see where my baseball team ranks after today, even though I'm in dead last, but it is what it is. Okay. Just text it. Okay. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson off the board at the turn there. See, I think starting Lamar, Brian Thomas, Nico Collins is pretty good. Monra, Devon Achane, and Josh Allen. I would be looking receiver here. Probably Tet or more, either one. not Terry. Yeah, well, he took Terry, so I guess that's just an ADP thing, you know. Sometimes people just see the top of the board and they're just like, ooh, gimme, and they just take the top of the board. It's not how I play, but beggars can't be choosers sometimes. DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, George Kittle. I like George Kittle, but this early, I don't know about that. That feels really early. Tet McMillan off the board. I like Tet. Tet's a fun pick this year. I do think Tet has some solid ranges of outcomes this year to where it makes sense for somebody to take him. I don't know if he's like super duper, but he's not bad. I do have him in some dynasty that I really like. So I definitely think he's better than a lot. So I just think you're going to realize his potential a little bit late in the year. So that part of it does suck because that's just is what it is. James Cook, Jameson Williams, Jaden Daniels off the board. Jalen Hurts off the board with no Eagles. That's interesting. Not really sure how I feel about that. But Xavier Worthy goes off. All right, so we have Ken Walker, who's way too high in drafters. We're gonna go Pickens, I think, or Sutton. I think we'll go Pickens. Actually, we're gonna go Sutton. We'll go Sutton, and we will also take Ridley. So we start off Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley. I really like this start. I think this is a good start. If you guys have not watched my streams a lot, you won't see me click Calvin Ridley so much. I think Calvin Ridley's primed for a really good year this year. I don't really see where he doesn't have a good year this year. I think he's way too good not to. So Joe Burrow off the board. You know, we could have went Joe Burrow and got those two, but we didn't. This guy takes a naked Burrow to make it make sense. You know, I don't really understand that. So, takes him ahead of ADP, by the way. And he's naked. So, this is what I mean by drafters not being very sharp. You know, it is what it is. I'm sure that Higgins drafter is pretty angry. I would be, but it is what it is. It is what it is at the end of the day. You get some drafts where Burrow is like your 70th pick because you could push him because you're in a room that with people that know what they're doing. Then you get others that they're like, oh, it's Joe Burrow. That offense is so amazing. And they just draft him naked in the 5th round. So you never know what kind of room you're going to get. And unfortunately, in this room, we got a guy who just simply put, drafted him naked. I don't ever get that strategy because he's not a guy who has rushing upside either. So, like I said, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Rushing Like, not a lot of upside here. 201 yards rushing. That's not a lot at all. I get it. Almost 5,000 passing yards. I get it. Man, oh man, am I not on board with that. Taking him naked. I'm just not. I think you need to have at least one piece. Maybe he gets Gesicki later and he plays it that way. It's not the way I want to play this if I take Joe Burrow. I want to have Chase Brown. I want to have Chase. I want to have T. Higgins. One of those three guys. I need to have one of those three guys. And he doesn't have one of those three guys, so it feels kind of pointless to me. But to each their own. To each their own. That's what we say to people like that. To each their own. So, Waddle, I have been surprised not to see creep up boards a little bit. Even an underdog, I kind of figure he might creep up to this range at some point. Just because Johnny's gone, and realistically, all they have is Reek, Achan, and him now. So, that kind of feels like a missed opportunity. Maybe I take some more Waddle in the near future to get me some exposure to him. So I think this Josh Downs price here is ridiculous at this point. I've paid it. I paid it when he was in the 90s and 80s. So I think getting him in the 60s is just crazy. This guy could be auto drafting. That might be why he got Joe Burrow. Nope, never mind. I don't know. I don't know what that guy's doing. There's not really any running backs here that I care to take. I am going to reach for one, however, and Monty probably. If we get Godwin here, I will be ecstatic. I will be super ecstatic if it's Godwin. Wow. Okay. We're getting Chris Godwin as our wide receiver 5. That is immaculate. That is immaculate work from yours truly. We're going to go Aaron Jones. Reason being, A, receiving back. B, I think he has more upside than a lot of these guys. Just because I don't think Jordan Mason's all that. I still think Aaron Jones has some juice in the tank, man. I would normally take Judkins, but I've taken Judkins in every draft tonight, and I want to switch it up for you guys, so we're taking Aaron Jones. Our receiver room is awesome, by the way. Chase, Adams, Sutton, Ridley, Godwin. I don't think we're going to need to look at receiver for a little bit. We need to really round out the rest of our team here. So we're going to be looking to do that more so than anything else. We could go Baker, pair him up with Godwin. I'm okay with going Stafford later. Bo Nix and Cortland, I'm fine with. I'm fine with that too. Cam Ward is kind of a little bit later of a play that we can do. So there's some play. There's definitely some plays here that we can do. So that makes sense. Deebo Samuel off the board to the Jaden Daniels owner. That seems to be a very common stack, Jaden and Deebo. I think it's probably the most common one you get with Jaden is Deebo. So I feel like that's going to be a combo that maybe not so unique, but it's a combo that you still want to have because it could be the combo you need to get through. So Mahomes off the board. Jaden Reed, Ricky Pearsall. The more the offseason's gone on, the more I've kind of grown my like for Ricky Pearsall. So I think Ricky Pearsall could be decent this year. I don't know how good he is as a dynasty asset, but I think this year he's a pretty good play. Because Ayuk just is not going to be healthy, I don't think. McCaffrey, God only knows if he's going to stay healthy. Kittle's really about it. Pollard, Hawkinson. Hawkinson's been going later in underdog drafts, which is interesting. Kelsey, that's a huge overpay, but you have Mahomes, so I get it. Mahomes and Kelsey are always not a bad pair to have. So Rabona King, what is up? How are we doing tonight? Welcome in. Is this the main event? This is the $3 Best Ball Championship mini that they dropped today. I'm probably going to be trying to max this contest, so I don't really do the main event because how much it costs as a price point to enter and max. So I'd rather max the minis and get more volume than max the main and get less volume. It's kind of my outlook on it. So it allows me to be able to have more content to stream at a price point in which I can afford. So it's kind of where I'm at. Oh my God. Dude, I went to the gym and my arms are just cooked. Like, my God. My arms are done. Like, they don't want to move. Evan Ingram off the board. I'm okay with double tapping quarterback and going Bo Nix, Baker and being done. I'm okay with that because I don't really got to look at him again for the rest of the draft, really. Fields off the board. We're just going to do it. Then we don't got to look at him ever again. Now we don't got to look at him. So we have Bo Nix, Baker Mayfield, Chase Brown, Aaron Jones, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley, and Chris Godwin. I like that. I like that start. Pretty good start so far. We're almost halfway through this draft. I'd say next round we look to get a tight end. Maybe another running back because we're going to need them. So, but no, I'm not a huge main event drafter, Rabona, but I do draft quite a bit on drafters and underdogs. So I do both. We just finished up on underdog. We did a couple pit bulls. Did a couple pit bull teams. And yeah, like I said, the only reason I don't do drafters main events is because it's not sustainable cost wise for me to. So I don't. But yeah, I would like to. The cost wise, it just costs too much. I will always stand on that best ball is a very volume-based game, and you need to be able to get volume in to have a chance. And I feel like I can't get the proper amount of volume to make it worth my while. So that's why I do the cheaper drafts. I will never encourage somebody unless they have the bankroll to do it to do the main event. Like, that's just... I'm a realist when it comes to that. And yeah, that's just my opinion. I mean, if you want to throw a few shots in there as like lottery tickets, be my guest. But as a person who did that last year a ton and just threw a few shots and a few things and yada yada yada, it did not pan out well for me. So it's not how I want to play it going forward. ETN off the board. Some pretty decent picks there coming off the board. Caleb Williams getting paired up with nobody. Probably going to get Loveland. Lamar, that's fine to take Lamar naked. Allen, he probably is going to get Kincaid or Keon Coleman at some point. Still has no quarterback or tight end, by the way. So that's interesting. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 receivers and 4 running backs. I don't mind that build, though. I genuinely don't. I think it's a decent build overall. It's just not the type of build that I currently am building. So, as I said previously, though, if y'all are new here, drop a thumbs up. It helps me a lot. Subscribe if you're new. We do try to go live at least 3 times a week. 2 of those streams are brought to you by Drafters. One of the streams, which is tonight's stream, is kind of just, whatever I want to make it. But at least I try to get 2 Drafters streams in a week. And I also do Devy content, Dynasty content. I don't really do a whole lot of redraft content, but I do best ball content. So we do a lot of this kind of thing. So just hanging out, having a good time, that kind of thing. I appreciate everybody who comes through and hangs out with me on nights like tonight. I know it's late and it's a middle of the week kind of thing, and 4th of July festivities are coming up. So, like I said, happy 4th previously, and hope you guys have a fun 4th of July. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. In my opinion, it's going to be a really good one. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So, Trey Harris, Jaden Higgins, taking a pair of rookies there. On top of the Nakua, Ladd, Brees, Tet, Waddle start. Mixon, Monty, Pacheco. So he's kind of looking young here. He's got a young team. This is a very dynasty-esque looking team, I will say. If Njoku had fallen to me, that would have been huge. Warren, Kraft. One of those 2 is fine. Not really a Jonnu Smith guy now that he's on the Steelers. Would have loved to have him if he was on the Dolphins, but he's not. So definitely will be moving Jonnu Smith down my board quite a bit. So I think we're probably going to go Tracy or Spears. One of those 2. And then one of those tight ends. I don't really care which one that we get between all of this. So they're all about the same to me. Probably going to go Warren for the upside. Kraft's got a lot of upside too, honestly. But Kraft's got a lot busier of a room than Warren does. And Warren's got a little bit of rushing upside. So we get the guys we get to choose. So we're going to go Warren. We're going to go Tracy. Keep it moving. So, Baker Mayfield, Bo Nix, Chase Brown, Aaron Jones, Tyrone Tracy, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Cortland Sutton, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin, and Tyler Warren off the board. I like this team. I like this quite a bit. We're only in round 11, so still about a little over halfway. Not much, but only around over halfway. So we will see what happens here. I don't get it, man. I see these articles about having Kyren Williams as your RB1 and being comfortable with it. Like, I feel like you almost have to be comfortable with that. Like, it's stupid not to be, in my eyes. Like, he's a good enough tight end running back to be comfortable with him being your RB1. I don't know why you wouldn't be. It doesn't make much sense to me, personally. Here comes your slew of quarterbacks off the board. That dude with Trey Harris and Ladd McConkey's ticked. probably, that Herbert went off the board. Naked Herbert at that. Ouch. That sucks. That truly sucks. Glad it's him and not me, though. Glad it's him and not me. Get a few of the rounds in there. Kind of looking at some trades that went down in some dynasty leagues. All right, and we're up on the board here. Probably gonna go Mims. Actually, we'll wait till the last round to take anything there. We're gonna go Jake Ferg. Pretty decent tight end there. Just to get some points on the board at tight end. Running back room, we're going to add to that and go Trey Benson. Huge proponent for Trey Benson this year. I'm not a huge Connor guy. I don't know that Connor's sustainable enough to be durable enough for the whole season. So that's where I'm at with Connor. I feel like that's a pretty good bet to have right now. Going into age 31-year-old season, just doesn't feel like a great bet for him to stay healthy. I will see. I could be wrong, and I think Trey Benson has a lot of upside as far as standalone value too. I think they could take some work away from Connor and let Trey Benson take some of the receiving work, but we'll see. It's getting a little deep into the stream tonight, so we've been streaming for almost 2 hours now. So 2 hours in, and we're still ripping drafts. So if you guys are enjoying the content, make sure y'all drop a like. Be greatly appreciated. Romeo Dobbs off the board. Tua. We can show you all the teams here real quick as well, just so y'all can see kind of what the room looks like here. Let's see. All right, so there's what the board looks like so far. Let me move myself here. So here's what the room looks like so far. We have Justin Jefferson, Bucky Irving, Josh Jacobs, Xavier Worthy, Amarion Hampton, Jordan Addison, Jacoby Myers, Justin Fields, Michael Pittman, Cam Skatovich, J.J. McCarthy, Isaiah Likely, Dalton Kincaid, Bijan, Garrett Wilson, Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Hurts, Kenneth Walker, Stephon Diggs, Khalil Shakir, Evan Ingram, Kyler Murray, Jaden Blue, Christian Kirk, Cedric Tillman, Pat Bryant, CeeDee Lamb, Brock Bowers, Marvin Harrison, Jameson Williams, Joe Burrow, Caleb Johnson, Quinshon Judkins, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Warren, Luther Burden, Drake May, Kyle Williams, and Rashad White, Saquon Barkley, T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill, James Cook, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, Matthew Golden, Jordan Mason, Brock Purdy, David Njoku, Justin Herbert, Ray Davis, Tua Tagovailoa, Jahmyr Gibbs, Rashee Rice, Trey McBride, which I actually really like that start. Jaden Daniels, I probably would not win a quarterback, but hey, is what it is. George Pickens, RJ Harvey, Deebo Samuel, Emeka Egbuka, Rashid Shaheed, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Love, Tucker Kraft, Romeo Dobbs. That's a pretty solid team overall. Malik Neighbors, A.J. Brown, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Devontae Smith, Chuba Hubbard, DeAndre Swift, Ricky Pearsall, Brian Robinson, Travis Etienne, Dak Prescott, Tajay Spears, Jonnu Smith, and Marvin Mims Jr. with Sam Darnold. Puka Nacua, Lad McConkey, Breece Hall, Ted McMillan, Jalen Waddle, Joe Mixon, David Montgomery, Isaiah Pacheco, Jaden Higgins, Trey Harris, CJ Stroud, Dallas Goedert, Bryce Young, and Kyle Pitts. Christian McCaffrey, Drake London, Kyron Williams, DJ Moore, Chris Olave, Jawan Jennings, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce stack, Javonte Williams, Mark Andrews, Jared Goff, paired up with nobody. Garindo, Adam Thielen, Geno Smith, paired up with, once again, absolutely nobody. Ashton Genty, Derrick Henry, Mike Evans, DK Metcalf, Jerry Jeudy, James Conner, Jaden Reed, Brandon Ayuk, Caleb Williams paired up with Caleb Loveland and Caleb Williams stack. Mondre Stevenson, Cam Ward paired up with nobody. Austin Eckler, Matthew Stafford paired up with nobody yet again. Nico Collins, Brian Thomas Jr., Lamar Jackson, George Kittle, Alvin Kamara, Travis Hunter, Laporta, Tony Pollard, Keon Coleman, Najee Harris, Trevor Lawrence paired up with Brian Thomas, Tootin, Quentin Johnston, Tyler Algier, and then we will wrap it up here at the end here. Jalen Wright is going to go off the board here easily for me. Big Jalen Wright guy. Will always be clicking him this offseason. And I think we can go ahead and take a third tight end here and go Zach Ertz. Britton Strange is also kind of an interesting one. I think we're going to go with Zach Ertz because we already know. Actually, we can go with Jacksonville. We're going to go with Britton Strange here. I think this is a very fun team because we already got our 5 studs and we're filling out the rest. We're making some dart throws here at running back. I think tight end we can maybe stop now. We might be able to take one more at the end, but I do think we need to give another couple. We need to go 2-2-1, probably 2 more running backs, 2 more receivers, and 1 tight end. Or we could go 2 more running backs, 2 more tight ends, 1 more receiver. I'm okay with either one. So, but yeah, that's kind of what the roster, the board looks like so far. We're almost through this draft. We have 5 rounds remaining. So like I said, 2-2-1. I don't think we need any more quarterbacks, as I said previously. I think 2 is plenty. When you take Baker and Bo Nix within the top 10 rounds, I just think that's plenty. Obviously, to win this, you got to have a guy who's probably going to be top 5 and not get injured. So, I mean, if one of those guys gets injured anyways, it's probably done anyway, especially at this point with who's at quarterback. I mean, let's be real. Rodgers is not really a good fill-in. Richardson, God only knows if Anthony Richardson's even going to play this year. I mean, these are guys that really aren't even that viable picks. I'd rather take shots at running back and try to fill it out and play it where Bo Nix and Baker Mayfield stay healthy all year and they're productive quarterbacks. I'd rather play that out. So that's where I'm at and where I will continue to be at. So Oh, man. It has been a long one today, bro. Long one today. Been a long stream tonight. And this music is not helping. It's very peaceful, though. I will say that. It is very peaceful. De'Ami Brown off the board. Mason Taylor. Right before that. Mason Taylor's a fun one. So is Terrence Ferguson. Terrence Ferguson's another one that I've been clicking a lot. He's like a last round kind of guy, which I don't get. I have yet to understand that. I get Higbee still there, but like, good grief, man. Like, the upside for Terrence Ferguson is just oozing. It's just oozing out of his veins, honestly. And I don't see how you can't get excited for a guy like that. Truly, I don't get it. DJ Giddens off the board. Mr. Giddens. Mr. Giddens. Mr. Giddens. Mr. Giddens off the board. Four, three, 2, and 1. Justice Hill off the board. That's who I was hoping would fall to me. This is one of those drafts where I'm going to have to go Dylan Sampson. And counter my point from earlier and say, oh, well, Dylan Sampson gets the receiving role and actually has a role in this offense. I mean, it could happen. In theory, it could. All right, so he takes Slayton as our final receiver. I do think Slayton is a very decent upside play. He's going to have some weeks where he looks pretty good, I think. Obviously, he's nothing spectacular, but I don't think he's bad either by any means. Like I said, Terrence Ferguson to me is just an obvious click in every draft that I've been in. So he's just one of the easiest clicks for me to click. Like, I don't feel like he's a zero. I feel like he's somebody that can actually contribute and actually get an immediate role on his team. And that to me, it's just a huge thing, especially when you're paired up with Matthew Stafford and a team that's trying to contend for a Super Bowl. Like, that to me just feels like a very underrated value there. So I really need some food. I am hungry. And it is 11:30 and I'm just super hungry. I've only had one meal today and I'm just starving. I might see if there's anything I can get. Let's see. We will go with this. Tyler Shuck off the board. I do not love the Tyler Shuck pick. I don't see him being the starter long term. I can't see it. It's not in his range of outcomes for me. I think he's okay, but like it's just I don't think he's the starter long term. So I think that murders his value for me. I'd rather take A-Rich. I'd rather take a play on A-Rich, who I know if he is the starter, he's going to be a very high upside kind of play. Like, he has weeks where he could be a top 5 quarterback because of his rushing upside. Tyler Shuck just doesn't have that ability to even be a top 5 quarterback. Darren Waller at pick 196. I wondered where Darren Waller would go. I was just curious. So Darren Waller's going ahead of, let's see, Jawan Johnson. I mean, about where Pat Freiermuth goes. I mean, that seems about right, honestly. Because he's probably going to get the opportunity to start offhand, like right as soon as he gets there. There's not really any other tight ends there that are like scary. And he's been an all-pro before, but I don't really have any faith in Darren Waller being any good at all. I could be wrong, but I don't have much faith in that being good. I could see the upside there, but it's strictly an upside thing, which in best ball is what you want to play. So makes sense. It's a very much so making sense pick. It's just, I don't know. The price you're paying it's fine. It's a fine pick. If he's in the 170s, 160s, and you're taking him ahead of Chigakonkwo or Hunter Henry or Strange or Gesicki even, or Auden, like I'm just not taking him ahead of those guys. Mason Taylor, I'm not taking him ahead of him. There's quite a few guys. Freiermuth, probably not ahead of Freiermuth yet, but I need to see him play like Waller. I need to hear some reports of him playing in camp and see what people are saying and watch a little bit of film and see kind of what he looks like, because he's been off a year, and being off a year is just, it's hard to come back to an NFL level after being off that long. So I'm going to say this though. I'm going to say this much. If A-Rich falls to us here, we're taking A-Rich, because I think he's the only guy at quarterback that has the upside play here that makes sense to take a chance on. And then we'll just go running back. One more click here. And then that last click, we'll leave it up to tight end or receiver best available. It's kind of the prerogative that I'm going to be going forward with in the rest of this. If Anthony Richardson falls to us. That's a big one, though. That's a big if. And he goes right before our pick. Pairs up with Alec Pierce. Ouch. Okay. We are going to go ahead and take Ferguson because I want to make sure we get him. Take Devin Neal. Devin Neal's not a bad choice, I don't think. Decent rookie. I think you could have scrolled down and got Emmanuel Wilson. Not really on board with that, though. Receiver-wise, we got Wicks. We got Reynolds. We got Elijah Moore. We got Roman Wilson. Which that room just got a lot more crowded, so that kind of hurts him. Curtis Samuel. Troy Franklin as a last click I don't think is bad. There's really no Tampa Bay guys I want to click. Vele's not necessarily bad either. I think we could click a Denver guy and be okay. I think Vele and then Troy Franklin are kind of the preferred choices. I do think Troy Franklin had a decent year last year. I just don't know how much of that really translates. I think Vele's better, so I'm going to go with Vele myself. I think here for the last click and kind of pair up Vele and Bo Nix with Cortland Sutton as well. Kind of go from there. Damn. The restaurant I ordered from was closed, guys. It's cooked. That's not good. Alright, well, I guess I will order... I don't know where I'm going to order from now. I guess Sonic. Sonic it is. All right. And we're coming up on the last pick of the draft here. All right, last pick. Probably going to go Vele. He's probably the last guy here that makes sense for me and this team. So, all right. Once we click Vele here, I'm going to go full screen now and kind of start doing the closing here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We did click Vele as the last choice here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys are new, make sure y'all drop a like. And we will be back again probably Saturday night. Everybody have a good 4th of July, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.